Hello and welcome back to Horoscope TV. Whether you are listening on your morning commute, while you're prepping dinner, or maybe hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes of peace, we are so glad you're here. Today, we are turning our entire focus onto one specific sign for one very specific week. If you are a Virgo or if you love a Virgo and are trying to figure out what is going on with them, this is for you. We are looking exclusively at the week of February 9th to February 15th, 2026.
It is good to be back. And you're so right to emphasize the dates here. Astrology is all about timing. And this particular week, February 9th, 2026. It's a fascinating pivot point for Virgo. We're not looking at a slow, gradual week here. We are looking at a week of very distinct chapters.
Okay, I love when we get chapters. It makes life feel a little more cinematic. So if you had to give us the headline, the marquee lights text for Virgo for this week in 2026, what are we looking at?
The headline is, "The sweetest dream meets the heaviest reality." That is the core tension. This week is defined by a massive shift. You start the week in a state of pure romantic harmony. It's almost idyllic. But as we move toward the weekend, the energy shifts dramatically from connection to responsibility.
That sounds like a bit of a whiplash.
It can be if you aren't prepared for it.
Yeah.
We have two major planetary players making some big moves. First, we have Venus, the planet of love and beauty, making a beautiful entrance into the partnership sector. That's the dream part.
Okay.
But then, right on the heels of that, Saturn, the great taskmaster, the planet of karma and discipline, makes a heavy entrance into a very deep psychological sector.
Saturn always likes to crash the party, doesn't he?
He doesn't crash the party so much as he turns on the lights and asks who's going to clean up the confetti.
Right. The responsible buzzkill. Okay, so our mission today is to analyze this thoroughly. We need to help the Virgos out there navigate a week that starts like a rom-com and ends like a documentary about taxes. We're going to look at the transits through the 7th and 8th houses and figure out exactly how to handle this.
Exactly. We need to analyze the specific movements so you can maximize the joy early in the week and be ready for that reality check at the end.
So let's start with the general atmosphere. You mentioned the relationship versus reality theme. The forecast says relationships are the absolute center of the Virgo universe this week. Why is that?
It stems from the movement of the planets through the hemispheres of the chart. For Virgo right now, the energy is projecting outward. It's not about me, it's about we. The biggest trigger for this is Venus entering the partnership sector on Tuesday, February 10th.
Tuesday, February 10th. Mark your calendars. Now, when you say partnership sector, we're talking about the 7th house, right?
Correct. The 7th house in astrology is the house of others. It rules marriage, business partnerships, even open enemies, and committed relationships. When Venus, which is the planet of ease and grace and affection, walks into that house, it's like a balm is applied to all your one-on-one interactions.
So if I'm a Virgo and I've been bickering with my spouse, or my business partner has been just, annoying me, Tuesday is the day it stops.
Ideally, yes. It brings blessings and harmony. It smooths over conflicts. It's a time where you actually enjoy the company of others. You stop focusing on the flaws.
Which, let's be honest, Virgos are very good at spotting.
Very good. But this week, you start seeing the harmony instead.
It's like a cosmic peace treaty is signed on Tuesday.
That is a perfect analogy. The guns are put down, the flowers are brought out. But
There's always a but.
we have to talk about the Saturn shift.
The Saturn shift. This happens on February 14th, Valentine's Day, ironically enough.
Precisely. Saturn enters the 8th house. Now, the 8th house is very different from the 7th. In the 7th house is the wedding reception.
Yeah.
The 8th house is the meeting with the estate lawyer 10 years later. The 8th house rules shared resources, taxes, debt, inheritance, and deep psychological transformation.
That is heavy.
It is. Saturn is weight. It adds gravity. So you're moving from the light, airy joy of connection with Venus into the serious, heavy weight of obligation with Saturn. The contrast is stark.
So what's the takeaway here for the general vibe? What should Virgos be expecting to feel?
The theme is facing fears. You are allowed to enjoy the company of others. Venus wants you to. But Saturn is demanding that you take responsibility for your entanglements with them. It's not enough to just love someone. You have to understand the debts, the promises, and the psychological bonds you share with them.
Okay, let's unpack this love and romance aspect a bit more because, frankly, one of the best weeks of the year for love is a pretty big claim. I want to make sure our Virgo listeners get the most out of this.
It is a bold claim, but the data supports it. Venus in the 7th house is really the gold standard for relationship harmony. It makes Virgo energy irresistible, because it softens that critical edge they can sometimes have.
Oh, so for the committed Virgos out there, peace is restored.
Yes.
What does that look like practically? Give me a scene.
It looks like forgiveness. It looks like coming home after work. And instead of pointing out that the dishwasher wasn't loaded correctly,
That classic.
you just feel happy to see your partner. The energy flows. Date nights don't feel forced. They feel essential. There is a sweetness in the air that you haven't felt in a while.
That sounds lovely. But what about the single Virgos? Is this just a week to sit at home and watch romance movies?
Absolutely not. This is a prime time for meeting someone. And the data gives us a very specific archetype to look for.
Oh, I love the archetypes. Who are we looking for?
You are looking for someone kind, artistic, and gentle.
Interesting. Because usually I feel like Virgos have a checklist. Do they have a 401k? Is their car clean? Do they have a 5-year plan?
Exactly. That is the typical analytical Virgo approach. But Venus in this position is not asking for logic. It's asking for softness. You are looking for a CEO this week. You're looking for a poet.
A poet.
You're looking for someone who brings beauty into your life, not just utility.
Okay. Keep your eyes open for the poets, Virgos. Now, I want to spend some real time on this next point because looking at the chart, this seems like the most mysterious part of the week. Thursday, February 12th. The fated moment.
Yes, this is without a doubt the pivot point of the entire week, perhaps even the month.
The chart shows Mercury conjunct the North Node. Now, we hear North Node a lot in pop astrology, usually associated with destiny or where you're supposed to go. But let's break this down. What is the North Node, really? And why is it such a big deal that Mercury is hitting it?
It is a huge deal, especially for Virgo. Remember, Mercury is your ruling planet.
Right.
It's the captain of the Virgo ship. It represents your mind, your communication, your logic, and your day-to-day processing of reality.
So the captain is steering the ship.
Exactly. Now, the North Node is not a planet. It's a mathematical point in the sky where the orbit of the moon intersects the ecliptic. In evolutionary astrology, the North Node represents the head of the dragon. It is the point of voracious hunger for growth. It represents the psychological territory that is unfamiliar, uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary for your soul's evolution.
Unfamiliar and uncomfortable. That doesn't sound very fated in the romantic movie montage sense. It sounds like work.
It is work. Destiny is rarely a soft landing.
Huh.
It's usually a call to adventure that you initially want to refuse.
Huh.
The South Node is where we are comfortable. Our old habits, our past lives, the things we do automatically. The North Node is the terrifying new frontier.
So when Mercury, the planet of words and ideas, smashes into this point of terrifying new frontier, what happens?
You get a download of destiny. That's the best way to describe it. Because Mercury is involved. This isn't just a vague feeling. It is literal information. It is a conversation. It is a message.
Okay, let's paint a picture for the listener. It's Thursday, February 12th. I'm a Virgo. I'm going about my day. What does this look like?
It could be incredibly subtle, which is why you have to be paying attention. It might be a conversation with a stranger in a coffee shop who recommends a book that ends up changing your career path. It might be an email from an old colleague offering an opportunity that scares you because it feels too big.
Too big. That's the North Node feeling, isn't it?
Yes. If opportunity comes your way on Thursday and your immediate reaction is, I'm not ready for that, or that's not who I am, that is a sign it is the North Node talking. The North Node demands you become someone new.
And because it's Mercury, it's verbal, it's communicative.
Precisely. And remember, Mercury is currently in Pisces in this chart.
Ah.
Pisces is the sign of dreams, intuition, and the unconscious. So this message might not be a spreadsheet. It might be a sudden intuitive flash. It might be a slip of the tongue that reveals a deep truth.
A Freudian slip that changes your life.
Exactly. Or you might run into someone, a karmic connection. Since the North Node is involved, this meeting isn't random. The person you meet on Thursday, or the person you have a significant conversation with, is a player in your future story.
That gives me chills. So the advice here is take the earbuds out.
Take the earbuds out. Listen. And more importantly, be open to information that challenges your current worldview. If someone tells you something on Thursday that contradicts your plan, don't just dismiss it. That contradiction is the doorway.
The contradiction is the doorway. I like that. But as we know, the universe loves a balance. So we have this moment of destiny on Thursday, and then we have Sunday.
Sunday, February 15th, the curveball.
Venus squares Lilith. Now, Lilith is another one of those astrological figures that people kind of know, but maybe they just think of her as a demon or something. Who is Lilith in this context?
Lilith is a fascinating archetype. Mythologically, she was Adam's first wife who refused to be subservient and was cast out of Eden. Astrologically, she represents the wild feminine. She represents suppressed anger, raw sexuality, rebellion, and the part of us that refuses to compromise our authenticity for the sake of politeness.
She's the anti-people pleaser.
She is the ultimate anti-people pleaser. Now remember, earlier in the week, we have Venus in the 7th house making everyone play nice. Let's get along, let's have peace.
Right, the cosmic peace treaty.
Lilith hates a fake peace treaty.
Oh, no.
On Sunday, Venus, who wants harmony, squares off against Lilith, who wants truth, no matter how messy it is. This creates a friction point.
So the nice, polite dinner party suddenly turns into a shouting match.
It can. The scenario here is that a partner might suddenly act out in a way that seems completely out of character, or the Virgo themselves might feel a sudden, uncharacteristic urge to rebel, to say, I am sick of being the dutiful, perfect one. I want to break something.
Wow. So if you wake up on Sunday morning wanting to burn your to-do list, that's Lilith talking.
Precisely. It's a rebellion against the constraints of the good behavior you've been maintaining all week.
So how do we handle this? Because burning the to-do list or screaming at your spouse usually has consequences.
The strategy is crucial. Do not suppress it, but do not let it destroy the relationship. Communication is the antidote. You need to verbalize the frustration rather than acting it out destructively.
I am feeling the urge to rebel rather than actually setting the curtains on fire.
A much better strategy, yes.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the wildness, acknowledge the anger. If you tell your partner, I'm feeling really stifled right now and I need to do something wild, that's a conversation. If you just disappear or pick a fight, that's destruction.
Let's pivot to career and the daily grind. Because for Virgo, work is essentially their love language anyway.
It is their natural habitat. And the sun is currently in the 6th house.
Which is Virgo's home turf.
It is. The 6th house rules daily tasks, routine, service, and health. With the sun there, the spotlight is on the grind. The vibe is busy, lots of details, lots of lists, lots of checking boxes.
Which usually makes a Virgo very happy.
It does, but there's a trap. The trap is getting lost in the details. You can get so focused on organizing the files that you forget to actually do the work. Or you get so obsessed with a minor error that you miss the deadline.
So how do we avoid the trap? What's the strategy for the week of the 9th?
The strategy is collaboration. The forecast is explicit. You cannot do it all alone.
Ooh. That is hard for Virgos. I know a few Virgos, and their motto is usually, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself because everyone else is incompetent.
It is a common sentiment. But this week, that mindset will lead to failure. Remember Venus in the 7th house. That influence extends to business partnerships, too. Success this week comes from the team. You have to delegate. You have to trust.
Rely on partners and colleagues. Got it. Now, does that Mercury North Node connection, the destiny thing, play into career, too?
Absolutely. Mercury rules Virgo. It governs how you speak and write. When it connects to the node, your words carry extra weight. The advice is, use them to build bridges, not walls.
Can you give us a scenario of what that looks like in a meeting?
Imagine you are in a negotiation, or perhaps discussing a contract. The phrasing you choose on February 12th will determine the long-term future of that project. If you are critical or closed off, you close the door on destiny. If you're open and collaborative, you build a bridge to that future success.
Words matter. But we also have that Saturn shadow looming over work, don't we?
We do. Toward the end of the week, as Saturn creeps into the 8th house, issues of corporate money or shared budgets might surface. This isn't your petty cash. This is the big institutional funding. You might find out a budget is being cut, or you have to fight for resources.
Which leads us perfectly into the financial sector. Because Saturn in the 8th house sounds like a financial audit waiting to happen.
It is the ultimate reality check for finances. To understand this, we have to really understand the 8th house. We talked about it briefly as the estate lawyer, but it's deeper than that. The 2nd house is your money, your wallet, your salary. The 8th house is other people's money. OPM, loans, credit cards, mortgages, venture capital, taxes, alimony, inheritances. It is money that comes with strings attached. It is money that binds you to another entity.
And Saturn is the planet of restriction and boundaries.
Correct. So when Saturn moves into this house of shared resources, he tightens the belt. He inspects the strings.
So what does the forecast say specifically?
Money matters become intense. Access to credit gets tighter. If you were planning to apply for a loan or a new credit card this week, you might face hurdles. The bank might ask for more paperwork. The interest rate might be higher than you expected.
It sounds like the universe is saying, stop borrowing.
It is. The warning is clear. You have to work harder to pay off obligations. Saturn wants you to be debt-free.
Yeah.
He wants you to be unencumbered. So his transit here is about showing you exactly how heavy your debt is.
And the actionable advice.
Do not take on new debt. If you can avoid it, do not sign for a loan this week. This is a time to pay down, not borrow more. If you have a credit card balance, make a plan to attack it.
Is there any good news financially? Or should we all just hide our wallets?
There is a silver lining. Remember Venus in the partnership zone?
Yes, our cosmic peace treaty.
That benefit applies to money too. Financial help might come through a spouse or a business partner. Your partner might get a bonus, or a business associate might bring in a lucrative client. The relief comes from others, not from your own solo hustle.
Okay, so lean on the team, but I saw something in the notes about fine print.
Yes, this is crucial. Because Saturn demands seriousness, serious contracts may appear. Transparency is non-negotiable. If you are hiding financial issues from your spouse, your tax man, or your business partner, this is the week it backfires.
Oof, do not hide the receipts.
Do not hide the receipts. Saturn represents reality. If you have been living in a financial fantasy, Saturn will pop the bubble. But if you are honest and you are diligent, Saturn rewards that stability.
And specifically, on February 15th, that Sunday with the Lilith energy, the energy warns against risky investments.
Play it safe. No crypto, no betting on the ponies, no get-rich-quick schemes. Keep your money in the mattress, metaphorically speaking.
Got it. Let's move to something that Virgos usually prioritize, health and wellness.
This is a fascinating sector this week because we have a tension between the Sun and Saturn again.
The 6th house versus the 8th house.
Right. The Sun in the 6th house gives you vitality. You feel physically capable. You want to go to the gym. You want to organize your meal prep. But Saturn in the 8th house brings deep-seated anxieties to the surface.
So your body is ready to run a marathon, but your mind is worrying about the apocalypse.
Essentially. The physical health is tied directly to the psychological state this week. If you get sick or feel run down, it is likely psychosomatic, driven by stress or fear.
Mind over matter.
Exactly. The recommendation from the data is very specific. Therapy or counseling is highly beneficial right now. You need a space to unload the psychological weight of that Saturn transit. The 8th house is the closet where we hide our skeletons. Saturn is opening the door. You need a professional to help you organize what falls out.
That's a visceral image. It's interesting that the forecast specifically mentions reproductive health as a focus area.
Yes. The 8th house rules the reproductive system and the organs of elimination. With Saturn moving in there, it's a good time for checkups or just being mindful of that part of your body.
And what about diet? Virgos love a good dietary rule.
The advice is clean and simple. Don't try a complicated new fad diet. Just simplify. Whole foods.
And there's a note here about the stabilizer on February 12th, the moon in Capricorn.
Capricorn is an earth sign, like Virgo. When the moon is there, it grounds you. It helps you stick to a routine. It's an emotional anchor. But the specific reminder here is hydration.
Drink water.
It sounds so basic, but Saturn dries things out. Capricorn is a dry sign. You need to actively hydrate to keep the energy moving. Stagnation is the enemy this week.
Okay, drink your water, folks. Now we are getting to the fun part. The cosmic toolkit. I always love seeing what colors and numbers the universe is vibing with.
It's like setting the mood lighting for your week.
The color of the week is peach. Hashtag FFDAB9 for the designers out there.
Peach. It's perfect.
Why peach?
Think about the Venus influence. It's soft, it's gentle, it's approachable. It's not an aggressive red or a moody black. It's the color of harmony. Wearing peach, or even just having it around, aligns you with that 7th house energy of connection. It signals to the universe, I am open to sweetness.
I love that. And the lucky numbers.
We have 3, 12, 24, 30, 42, and 58.
Play them if you will, but maybe not on risky investments on Sunday.
Exactly. Use them for table numbers or dates, not gambling.
And the best dates. We've mentioned them, but let's recap.
February 10th, that's the Venus entry, the day of love. And February 12th, the Mercury node destiny point. Those are your power days.
Now, this is the part everyone waits for. The relationship compatibility analysis. Who should Virgo cling to, and who should they run from?
The winner this week is Taurus.
The bull. Why Taurus?
Taurus is the safe harbor. They're a fellow Earth sign, which provides immediate understanding. But more importantly, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Since Venus is the star of the show this week, Taurus is vibrating on the right frequency.
It's the dynamic lake.
Stability and sensual comfort. Virgos are going to be anxious about the Saturn stuff, the money, the debts. Taurus says, sit down, have some good food, relax, we will figure it out. They provide practical solutions to money worries without the panic. They won't rush the Virgo.
That sounds like exactly what Virgo needs. Don't rush me, just feed me and help me with my spreadsheet.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Mutual support.
And now, we have to talk about the difficult match. The outline lists Gemini as the worst match, but I want to be careful here. We don't want to just villainize people based on their sign. Why is the dynamic with Gemini so tricky this specific week?
You are right. It's not about Gemini being bad. It's about energy mismatch. The conflict comes from Mercury. Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini. They're usually mental cousins.
They usually get each other.
They do. But right now, Mercury is in Pisces. Pisces is watery, emotional, and foggy. It squares Gemini. So Gemini energy right now is feeling very scattered, very superficial, and very changeable.
And Virgo is over here dealing with heavy Saturn reality.
Exactly. Virgo is sitting there saying, I need to talk about our mortgage and my deep-seated fears of abandonment. And Gemini is saying, hey, let's go to a karaoke bar. No, wait, let's go to a movie. No, wait, I lost my keys.
So it's a clash of needs. Virgo needs an anchor, and Gemini is a kite.
That is a perfect description. It drives Virgo crazy. The lack of attention to detail from Gemini this week will feel like a personal attack. Virgo needs solid answers. Gemini offers vague possibilities.
So the verdict isn't Gemini is evil, it's just...
Avoid relying on them for anything important this week. If you have a Gemini friend, love them from a distance. Do not ask them to pick you up from the airport. Do not ask them to proofread your contract. Just enjoy their memes, but don't give them responsibilities.
Noted. No airport runs for Gemini.
It's for the best.
All right. We have covered a lot of ground. We've gone from romantic bliss to financial audits. Let's try and analyze this for a final takeaway.
If we look at the big picture, this is a week of two halves. The romance and ease of the start, followed by the serious, mature requirements of the end. It's a transition week.
It feels like growing up.
It does. And my final piece of wisdom is this. Don't let the fear of Saturn ruin the joy of Venus. It is easy for Virgo to look ahead at Saturday and worry about the heavy stuff and totally miss the beautiful connection happening on Tuesday. Be present. Use the partnership support, that Taurus energy, to help you handle the heavy work when it comes. You don't have to do the Saturn part alone.
That is great advice. Lean into the love so you're strong enough for the duty.
Exactly.
I want to leave our listeners with a thought. You mentioned February 12th is a fated conversation.
Yes.
So here is my question for you, listening right now. If Thursday is a conversation with destiny, are you actually listening? Are you ready to hear what the universe is trying to tell you, even if it changes your trajectory, even if it's not on your list?
That is the question. The North Node doesn't always take us where we want to go, but it takes us where we need to be.
Something to mull over. Thank you so much for tuning in to Horoscope TV. We hope this helps you analyze the week of February 9th with a little more grace and a little less panic.
Indeed. Be kind to yourselves, Virgos.
If you enjoyed this analysis, please hit that subscribe button so you get notified the second our next episode drops. You won't want to miss what happens when Saturn settles in. Until then, keep looking up.